mostly when I went to, we'll start out asking you about this conference,
Yeah.
because I know that with COVID and everything like that, that it's been quite different. Tell me about some of the major challenges and some of the things you feel like, whoa, we rocked this part of it.
Well, the biggest challenge is probably uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know last year what would be happening this year. We didn't know in January what would be happening in August even, right? And so we're just trying to read the tea leaves on where we'd be going, and you can't plan based on where you were at a moment, because it's not going to be where you're going to be in 6 months from now. So that was by far the biggest uncertainty, and that then multiplied because the sponsors and the speakers were dealing with the same thing. And so we had multiple cancellations of speakers in the last 2 weeks. And we had sponsors that were signing up late or making a decision to not sponsor relatively late too. So yes, it was much, much more difficult than normal.
Yeah. What do you feel like with this conference went the best? What was your favorite moment with the
Well, the
conference
best
this
thing
year?
about this conference, so this conference was definitely smaller in numbers than our normal conferences, right? And so I think the best part of this was actually that. We like bigger conferences. Bigger conferences attract more sponsors. They have benefits. We get to do more for people. We get to put on more events on a bigger scale. But when you have fewer people in the room, you get to talk to more people more in depth than you do otherwise. So to me, that by far was the win of the whole thing.
Excellent. Moving on to the next conference you've got coming up.
Yeah.
Because the International Food Bloggers Conference is the official title of it, right? And that's coming up in just a couple months, right?
In a couple months, in October.
Tell me about that and what's going on with that, because I don't know that much about that conference except for being in the virtual ones this past year.
So the International Food Blogger Conference is 1 year younger. It started the year after the Wine Media Conference. And it's similar, really, in scope and in content, with the whole distinction being it's food instead of wine. The food bloggers are different from wine bloggers, but it doesn't really affect the conference that much. It's still very similar. That conference is going to be in El Paso, Texas, where we have an outdoor venue. So we're doing the same safety factors. We're requiring people to be vaccinated or negative PCR tested, and we're suggesting masks when we're in enclosed places near people. But we also are going to be outdoors for essentially the entire conference, except for a few times when we're busing on excursions. So I'm very confident on that one that we can keep everybody safe.
Excellent. The other thing that you do is all of your adventure trips. And I don't know, I know a little bit about those, but not a lot. So tell us about those.
I have 3 tour companies. It sounds big, it's still small, but I have 3 companies. Zephyr Adventures runs active tours around the world, and I've been doing that for 24 years. So bicycling in Italy, hiking on the Inca Trail, things like that. Taste Vacations runs wine, craft, beer, and food vacations around the world. We have a food tour in Peru, we do wine tours in Bordeaux and Rioja, things like that. And our new brand is called Travel Montana. We started it in response to the pandemic. It was my retirement plan. I had it on my schedule that when I was ready to retire, I would move back to Montana, where we're based, and we're experts. But now we advanced it because we knew that there would be a strong demand for domestic before foreign travel. And it's booming, really. It's doing great, and it's keeping us very busy. So on the travel side of the COVID world, if we can run tours in Europe this coming late summer and fall, we will have our best year ever. So that's been great. Whereas in the conference world, we're still catching up to where we were 2 years ago.
Right. What do you do in Montana? What are they like? Are they bike tours? Are they a bit of all the adventure kind of stuff? And where do you go in Montana?
Yeah, we like active stuff. That's who I am,
Yeah.
and so that's what I like to do. So we have hiking tours in the Beartooth Mountains. We have a bicycle tour in the Flathead Valley, which is the best place to bicycle. We have tours in Glacier National Park and Yellowstone. We have 13 different itineraries.
Wow.
And people can come to us and either generally take a set itinerary or we'll adapt it a little bit. And we do groups as small as 4, so we often get families coming, but we also run groups. We had a 18-person family tour there a 10-day tour because they were supposed to go on a cruise in Europe and it got canceled because of COVID, and they called us up desperately and said, what can you do? So that's been working quite well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you do your stuff in Europe and your food and wine, tell me a little bit more about those and the kind of places that you're going to, because that's something I would be interested in, obviously.
Yeah, so that's obviously the biggest tie to our conferences,
Right,
which are
yeah.
food, wine, and beer. So we think that the ties across are good. We try to take people on experiences similar to the experiences we give them here at the Wine Media Conference. We try to go to wineries and not just go into the tasting rooms, but meet the winemakers. We like to do the same experiences here, right? We had a flight of 4 wines from Abruzzo, all the same grape, all the same year, and we were identifying what the differences are. That is amazingly educational to these expert wine bloggers. And these folks know their stuff, right? And so when we're taking consumers and we can give them exposures like that, it's just so mind-boggling to them and so rewarding. And then, of course, we also then go into the local cafe and for lunch, and we do a local restaurant, and we do all those great experiences. So that's what we do on those Tastefications tours.
Gotcha.
Here's an interesting story. I used to have a ponytail. It went down to here.
Yeah.
And I was living in Montana, and I was running an adventure travel company. And so people would come up and meet me, and they would assume I was this hippie, outdoor adventure guy, hippie. But I also have an MBA from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, right? Which is one of the top business schools in the world. And so I kind of see myself as that too. And it's so fascinating. It really taught me that people make judgments about you based on what you look like.
Right.
That might be very different from who you really are.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? So I'm a bit of an agglomeration. I'm definitely a little of that outdoor adventure guy. I'm definitely the wine, food, and beer guy. But as you all know, I'm the business person too. That's why I run these conferences and hopefully, run them so that all of you like them.